Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be bringing you a little bit of a different video, and I'm going to be talking to you about the PlayStation 5, how I managed to acquire one, and some of the tips and tricks and places that I went and looked, throughout the past, I would say maybe 10 days to maybe 2 weeks that I spent looking for a PlayStation 5 online from actual retailers and not giving in to scalpers and things like that. So some of this stuff can actually be applied to a lot of things. So if you're looking for graphics cards or new Ryzen CPUs, which all seem to be sold out right now at the moment, pretty much any desirable tech product seems to be sold out right now. A lot of it has to do with the holiday season, but also because, they're hotly anticipated, and also COVID and bots. It's just a perfect storm of fuckery if you want any sort of new, interesting piece of technology here in late 2020. So if you want to get something, hopefully this will help you maybe with even other things, but I'm mostly going to be talking about the PS5, which I'm pretty much only going to be talking about the PS5, because really the only way to get one of these things at MSRP, there are two ways, and actually it kind of involves both. It's either blind luck or a combination of blind luck and sheer persistence of constantly checking. I'm talking like dozens, hundreds of times a day, and just constantly refreshing websites. But there are a couple of like little shortcuts here and there that can kind of make that go a little bit easier for you. So hopefully I can impart a little bit wisdom with you guys here today on how I was able to score a PS5, and I will probably show some gameplay during this video of Miles Morales at 60 FPS. But be aware, I captured an HDR and it doesn't really look right on the PC, so probably not going to use a ton of it. It kind of looks all washed out and blown out, and that's really just because of the conversion of HDR going to a non-HDR format. So in the future, if I do any PS5 gameplay stuff, I'll go ahead and fix that, but mostly focusing on the acquisition of said consoles here today. So we're going to get fired right into it. Did you just finish building a sweet gaming rig only to have this happen to you? Not to worry, because your CD Key has you covered with Windows 10 Pro licenses for under $18. And if you head over there right now, you could save 20% off with my code JPD20 at checkout. You'll receive your key within seconds, and then just click the start button and type activate to find the Windows activation screen, and all you gotta do then is paste your code in. For more info as well as that coupon code, be sure to check out the links down in the description below. Now, some of these things we're going to go over may seem, very obvious to, a lot of people. Maybe you're already aware of websites like nowinstock.net. This is a fairly commonly known website over the past few years. It's a good way of just getting a big, broad overview of most of the e-tailers out there. Definitely not all of the e-tailers. There are some e-tailers that are carrying PlayStation 5s that are not listed on this page, which had inventory in the past week or so. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it on those websites. I ended up going through Target, which was my favorite website to search for PlayStations, and I'll go over why when I get to that website. And also, when it comes to Now in Stock, I would not really rely on this as your main source. You really still need to go and manually check these websites, because during the past 2 weeks, only one time did I ever see a PlayStation 5 show up as in stock on this website. It was fairly late in the evening. It was like an $800 bundle. It's one of these GameStop bundles. I believe it was Demon's Souls, Spider-Man, and an extra controller along with the disc version of the PS5, and it was like $800 or $760. And when I clicked on it, it was already out of stock, and it still said in stock for probably a good 30 to 45 minutes. So it seems like these things are selling out way quicker than Now in Stock can even update their website. So I wouldn't rely on this, but it's, a good source to go to if you just want to launch all of the stores and stuff like that. And I'll also have a one-tab link down below to all of the stuff I'm going to be covering in this video. And that'll also open up all the websites in like one simple click. You just click it and boom, you're going to have like a dozen tabs open with every e-tailer selling PlayStation 5s, or at least the disc versions, which is really the only version that I think is worthwhile getting, especially if you want to be able to get like used PS4 titles and, play them on that, which is definitely a viable thing to do. And one of the main reasons I wanted a PS5, so I could play stuff like Ghost of Tsushima at 60 frames per second. You get most of your e-tailers on there. Best Buy, is a fairly decent site to check stock. And one thing I actually learned, because I went there the day after I got my PS5 to grab a couple of games, was they told me in the store is that they are not going to be carrying PlayStation 5s in the store throughout the holiday season. So if you're checking on Best Buy, there's no reason to go and sit there and like refresh and check like every different store in your area. At least based on what they told me, is that if you are wanting to get a PS5 from Best Buy, they are only going to be restocked on the website. So that should save you some time right there and not going through them. GameStop is another site. They seem to be getting stock fairly frequently, like almost every other day. So they're a pretty good place to go and look. But the place that seems to get inventory the most, and I say that based on not the fact that I ever saw them in stock on there, but on Now in Stock, their most recent in-stock items almost seems to update every single day for PlayStation Direct. And that's the, buying directly from PlayStation via their website, which is currently, of course, out of stock. But if we go back to Now in Stock, you could see PlayStation Direct most recent inventory was on December 4th at 4:34 p.m. So that was just yesterday. I'm recording this on December 5th, 8 o'clock in the morning. So yesterday, they had these things in stock on PlayStation Direct, and this pretty much every day when I look at it, it'll say, they had it December 3rd, they had it December 2nd at a certain time, and I just happened to miss it, or maybe they only had like one or two, and they sold out instantly before, I could even see it. But I've never actually personally seen them in stock on PlayStation Direct. But this last stock thing on Now in Stock seems to update the most. So I would say PlayStation Direct is probably the website I would spend the most time refreshing. There are other places like Sam's Club and Costco. I did see that Costco had gotten some yesterday, actually. At least I heard about it. I read about it online. There are actually a lot of some of the e-tailers and retailers are actually posting updates on when they're going to have inventory, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because you can say, oh, they're going to have inventory, at 11 a.m. at so-and-so a time, which was the case last week with Adorama. Adorama is an e-tailer that's not on nowinstock.net, but a very reputable retailer. They're located in New York. They mostly deal with cameras, kind of like B&H Photo. They have a physical store in Manhattan, and they also do sell online. So if you've never heard of Adorama, it's a reputable retailer, and they do carry PlayStation 5s. They've had them. Of course, right now they're not in stock, but last week they did post early that they were going to have them in stock on a certain day and a certain time, which only really helped to, create a huge influx of people wanting to buy them, and also help people set up their bots because they knew they would instantly be available on Adorama at an exact time, which meant as soon as it came out on there, the website was completely down and you couldn't do anything, which was the same case with Walmart on every occasion that they had inventory coming in, because they keep on announcing when they're getting inventory, which is like the worst thing. If you see someone announcing inventory, like, of course, if you're wanting to be persistent to grab a PS5, you should show up and hope for the best. But honestly, I don't really see it going that well. Newegg also has had PS5s, but they are out of stock there. They're out of stock everywhere, honestly. If I saw one right now, miraculously, I would probably stop recording this video and buy it because my brother actually wants one of these for his Christmas present. So I'm still on the hunt actually for another PS5. But yeah, Walmart has been getting them fairly frequently, one of the more frequent sites. Target has been getting them a lot in stores and fairly frequently, and actually a decent amount. And the reason I like searching on Target is for one main reason, is like, if you come on to there and you're searching, this is like a store fairly near me. It's about a half hour away. It says out of stock in Middletown. But if I click Edit Store, it instantly brings up this tab on the right side of the screen, which you can then see will list like the nearest like 50 stores or so within a certain number of miles. And you could even click this option, show in-stock stores within 50 miles, and check that. And of course, none of the stores within 50 miles have it, but it's a really nice feature if you're just looking to get a PS5 and you're willing to take a bit of a ride to go and pick one up. You can instantly check the inventory of 50 stores in a matter of a second, which I can't really say for any other e-tail websites out there. So that is like a complete godsend just for checking multiple locations all at once, because they will get these things in stock. This is how I got mine. They got it in stock at a Target. I paid for it online and reserved it, and then picked it up in the store within the hour. And that was working for me. And the entire time I was searching for PlayStation 5s, Target was my favorite place to go and check just for the simplicity of being able to check multiple stores at once. I had, before I found out Best Buy wasn't getting them in stores, I was checking on there, and you have to like do one store at a time, and the same is true for Walmart. It takes even longer on there. You can't just do like a broad radius search, like just find me PlayStation 5s within 300 miles of me. Like that would be super easy, because, you know, I would have been willing to drive an hour or two or even 3 hours to go pick one up if I could get one at $500. That would have not bothered me at all. I would have made a day of it. But it's unfortunate you just can't do that. And of course, if you want on Target, you could change it to, it's checking within a certain radius of where I live. But, if you're willing to, go a little further, like I could search, New York, and it'll search within 50 miles of there or so. And then if I wanted to search, Philadelphia, I'm like equidistant, like right in the middle of those two places. So if I wanted to search like Philadelphia or New York, I could search there, and then the, surrounding radius around it in a matter of seconds. So that was something that was extremely valuable to me through the Target website. So that's one of the main places I would check. So you got a lot of e-tailers out there. Now, another tip I will give people is, if you're going to be doing this on your web browser, which is probably the easiest way to do it, is to get yourself a couple of browser extensions. One of those is Reload All Tabs. This is for Firefox, but I'm certain that there's something similar for Chrome, but I just happen to use Firefox. And basically what Reload All Tabs does is it does exactly what it says it does. It reloads every single tab you have open. So if you have all these open, rather than having to go through each one of them and hit F5, you hit one button and then boom, they just all reload. So that's the easiest way to do it. Then you just got to click through them and check to see if any of them happen to have come in stock, which of course, most of the time they will have not. But that's just an easy way to kind of, circumvent having to reload every tab at one time. And another thing I would recommend to do is usually clearing the cache. I mean, it could potentially help if the website hadn't cached. If the website is still running on old cache, you could press Control F5 to reload a tab, and that'll clear the cache and then reload the website for that website. So I would grab another extension for emptying your cache quickly rather than having to go into the settings on Firefox or Chrome. For Firefox, the one I like, which I've been using for years, is the empty cache button. It looks like a little eraser. It's up here in the top right corner. I click that. So basically my process of searching would be to empty cache. It clears it instantly, and then hit the Reload All Tabs button. And then I know that it's, basically not going to be reloading a website with old information that hasn't been updated yet. So that's just another, kind of like a security blanket and a shortcut to make sure that you're seeing the most recent information possible from all of these websites, which of course right now are still completely out of stock. So, yeah, just, a few things I wanted to give to you guys as information that maybe could possibly help you in your search for a PS5. So far, I'm absolutely loving the system. I'm glad that I got it. I wanted to play Spider-Man Miles Morales, and there was some titles from PS4 that I'd never gotten around to playing because I got rid of my PS4 Pro before the PS5 was announced, because I wanted to, basically maximize what I can get out of it, and I was willing to wait for the PS5s to come out. So yeah, stuff like Ghost of Tsushima, didn't get a chance to play that. Now that runs at 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5, and it is absolutely gorgeous in HDR. Spider-Man Miles Morales, really awesome as well. I loved Spider-Man on the PS4 Pro, even though it was, 30 frames per second, I was able to put up with it. And now on the PS5, I have the option of playing it at 1440 60 frames, or you can play it at 4K with ray tracing turned on. In my opinion, not worth it with the ray tracing on. For 30 frames per second. The animations and everything are just so fluid on Spider-Man and Miles Morales and the remastered version when playing at 60 frames per second. So yeah, I would definitely suggest 60 frames per second all day, man. I will easily choose to sacrifice ray tracing and a little bit of resolution in favor of getting that better frame rate when it comes to, gaming on a console. And the same for, playing on PC. I mean, all these games that come out with ray tracing, I mostly game at 4K on my PC. And if a game's running at 30 frames per second and I can't fix it with something like DLSS, I'm just not going to run ray tracing. I'm going to choose the better frame rate every single time. But, thankfully these consoles, nowadays do at least give people that option. And hopefully we'll see a lot more of that in the future from new titles coming out. Also, the controllers, I mean, you probably have heard a fair amount about the controllers and the haptic feedback. It was something I was curious about, but I wasn't sure I would be that into. But after messing around with it a bit in Astro's Playroom, the free game that you can download with the system, it's pretty damn impressive stuff. Like the level of feedback it gives you is like the most next-gen part about having the PS5. I mean, otherwise it's really just a hardware upgrade, more or less. So the controller, though, is pretty friggin' insane. Yeah, the triggers and the rumble, how it's like not in just one area and moves around, and all of that stuff. Like the whole, blowing air into the microphone is kind of gimmicky. But the triggers really was the first thing. Is like, I was playing Astro's Playroom and I got to a point where you have to pull like a slot machine thing, and like the feedback of pulling down the lever, and then like you get like a ball or a soda can, you crush it in your hand with right trigger, and the feedback that I got from that, like, I was just like, holy shit, I feel like I just actually did that thing. And that is a pretty next-gen way of, just kind of getting you more immersed into the game world. It's pretty nuts. And I definitely look forward to seeing more titles hopefully take advantage of it. Spider-Man doesn't really do anything with the controller, which is kind of unfortunate. It would have been kind of cool to see them do something like that. I saw Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War did stuff with the trigger pulls, like how they feel different for every single weapon in the game. So that's pretty interesting. I might have to try that, as I did get it for my stepson for Christmas. The game, not the PS5. He still has a PS4. But yeah, backwards compatibility, huge. So obviously I could take that game, slap it on a PS5. We can check out how it works on the triggers and, just see how cool it is. Backwards compatibility, such a huge selling point for me with the PS5, being able to play those older titles and stuff. So yeah, definitely recommend grabbing a PS5 if you can get one at MSRP. And hopefully, just a couple tips and tricks here, like I said, that I learned through my tedious couple of weeks refreshing websites trying to get one of these things. Hopefully, maybe I said at least one or two things that maybe could help you, even if it's just the browser extensions, or recommending Target as a really good place in the US to search a large radius of stores at one time. Those things I think are going to save people a lot of time from searching around so much. So hopefully this did help you. If it did, leave a thumbs up on it, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Ta-ra.